Crossing the Thames by Chelsea Bridge, the wanderer through London finds himself in pleasant Battersea. Rounding the park, he comes upon a vast road. On the right, green trees stretch into the middle distance. On the left, endless blocks of residential flats. It is Battersea Park Road, the home of the cliff dwellers. Constable Plummer's beat embraced the first quarter of the mile of the cliffs. It was his duty to pace in the measured fashion of the London policeman.
It did not require a deal of keeping. Battersea Park Road's specialty is brain, not crime. Authors, musicians, newspapermen, actors, and artists are the inhabitants of these mansions. A child could control them. They assault and batter nothing but pianos. They steal nothing but ideas.
Constable Plummer reconciles himself to the fact that its term in Battersea must be looked upon as something in the nature of a vacation. But just when the unbroken calm had begun to lose its attraction, a new interest entered his life, and with its coming, he ceased to be bewitched to be removed from Battersea. He fell in love.
The Romance of an Ugly Policeman
By P.G. Wodehouse. It happened at the back of York Mansions. Anything that ever happens, happens there. For it is the back of these blocks of flats that the real life is. Pointed dialogues about yesterday's eggs or the toughness of Saturday's meat are conducted fortissimo between cheerful youths in the road and young women in print dresses who come out of kitchen doors onto the little balconies. The entire thing has a pleasing Romeo and Juliet touch about it. Romeo rattles up in his cart. The kitchen door opens and Juliet emerges. She eyes Romeo without any great show of affection.
Are you Perkins and Blissett?
Romeo admits it.
2 of them yesterday's eggs was bad.
Romeo protests. He defends his eggs. They were fresh from the hen. He stood over her while she laid them. Juliet listens frigidly.
Well, 1 sugar, 1 marmalade, and 2 of breakfast bacon.
The goods rattle up in the tradesman's lift. Juliet collects them and exits, banging the kitchen door behind her. Such is the life at the back of York Mansions. A busy, throbbing thing. The peace of the afternoon was broken one week towards the end of Constable Plummer's second week of the simple life, when his attention was attracted by a whistle.
It was followed by a musical
Hi! On the balcony of the second floor flat, a girl was standing. As he took her in with a slow and exhaustive gaze, he was aware of strange thrills. Got the time about you? All the clocks have stopped.
The time? Once exactly 10 minutes to 4.
Thanks.
Not at all, miss.
You've been on this beat long?
Just short of 2 weeks, miss.
I've been here 3 days.
I hope you like it, miss.
So-so. The milkman's a nice boy.
Constable Plummer did not reply. He was busy silently hating the milkman. He knew him. One of those good-looking blighters. One of those oiled and curled perishers. One of those blooming fascinators who go about the world making things hard for ugly, honest men with loving hearts. Oh yes, he knew the milkman.
He's around with his jokes.
Constable Plummer went on, not replying. He was perfectly aware that the milkman was a rare one with jokes. He had heard him.
He calls me little pansy face.
If you'll excuse me, miss, I'll have to be getting along on my beat.
Little pansy face? And you couldn't arrest him for that? What a world! Constable Plummer paced upon his way, a blue-clad volcano.
She had slipped out to mail a letter at the pillar box, and she reached it just as the policeman arrived there in the course of his patrol. Hello, posting love letters.
Who, me? This is to the police commissioner, telling him you're no good.
I'll give it to him. Him and me are taking supper tonight.
Nature never intended for Constable Plummer to be playful. He snatched the letter with what was intended to be debonair, but only succeeded in looking like an angry gorilla. The letter was addressed to Mr. A. Brooks.
Oh, Mr. A. Brooks!
Well, what about it? Can't a young woman write to the man she's keeping company with without having to get permission from a great, ugly, red-faced copper with big feet and a broken nose in London? Constable Plummer's wrath faded into a dull unhappiness. She was right. That was the correct description. As was how an impartial Scotland Yard would be compelled to describe him if ever he got lost. Missing A great, ugly, red-faced policeman with big feet and a broken nose. They would never find him otherwise.
Ellen, posted her letter, thoughtfully returned to the flat, and Battersea Park dozed on, calm, intellectual, law-abiding.
Constable Plummer gazed up at the plastered buildings resentfully. On the balcony of the second-floor flat, a woman appeared, an elderly, sharp-faced woman, who waved her arms and screamed.
Policeman! Officer! Come up here at once!
His mind was alert and questioning. Murder? If it had been that, she would have said so. Well, anyway, it was something.
What is it, ma'am? Perhaps our cook has been stealing.
Constable Plummer felt only depression and disappointment. To a man in the mood to tackle anarchists with bombs! It was garlic, but duty was duty.
She is in her room. I locked her in. I know she has taken my brooch.
She was seated on her bed, dressed for the street. She was pale, and there was a hunted look in her eye.
You wicked girl! Where is my brooch? You see, officer?
I wasn't stealing it. I hadn't but borrowed it. I was going to give it back.
Borrow it indeed. What for?
I wanted to look nice.
Take her to the police station, officer. Will you come along, miss? They walked in silence. Round the corner, beautiful in light flannel, with a new straw hat and the yellow shoes in southwest London, scented, curled, a prince among young men, stood Alf Brooks. He was feeling piqued. When he said 3 o'clock, he meant 3 o'clock. It was now 3:15, and she had not appeared.
Give her another 5 minutes.
At that moment, Edmund Brown with escort turned the corner. An electric shock sent the world dancing mistily before his eyes. Crumbs! She's been pinched! And Constable Plummer, woodenly at her side, came towards him. She was 10 yards off. 7, 5, 3. Alf Brooks tilted his hat over his eyes and walked past her, unseen, a stranger.
Constable Plummer eyed the middle distance. His face was redder than ever, and he stopped in his stride. The girl glanced up at him in kind of a dull, questioning way.
Hop it. Get along. Run away.
What do you mean?
Go on, hop it! Tell him it was all a joke. I'll explain at the station.
You mean I'm to go?
Yes. Run after him. And tell him it was all...
No, I couldn't. Not after what he did. Let's go along. I don't care. But were you really going to let me go? What would have happened to you if you had done that?
Dismiss the force.
Would you have done that for me?
Yes.
Why?
Because I don't think you ever did it.
Was that the only reason?
No. And you know it wasn't. Well, if you want it, you can have it. It is because I love you. There, now I've said it. Go on and laugh at me as much as you want.
I'm not laughing.
You think I'm a fool?
No, I don't.
I'm nothing to you. He's the fellow you're stuck on.
No.
What do you mean?
I've changed. I think I should have changed more when I come out of prison.
You're not going to prison.
Yes, I am.
I won't take you.
Yes, you will. Think I'm going to let you get yourself into trouble to save me? Not much. Where's the station?
Next street.
Well, come along then. And I say, mister, I don't even know your name.
Plymouth's my name, miss. Edward Plymouth.
I say, I wonder, what I mean is, it would be rather a lark if, when I came out of prison, there was somebody waiting for me to say, hello.
Miss, I'll be there. If I have to sit up all night, the first thing you'll see when they open those doors is a great, ugly, red-faced copper with big feet and a broken nose.